Hello, it's Jonathan here, DJ Puff the Third. I've managed to swing by Black Horse Lane on Tram link, and this is the TfL side of the railway park, or phase 3. To think, I used to look after this from about 2008 to, I don't know. But anyway, the issue was that basically the bridges behind us, there's one here and there's another one the other side, the bridges needed replacing, and I got cut off from the Addiscombe Railway Park Guerrilla Allotment for about 4 or 5 years, and by the time I gained access again in 2020 it was pretty much too late. It's effed down here. Anyway, as you know, I haven't been feeling brilliant, but hoping these distance glasses are helping. They seem to be helping my head, less eye strain, head pissing me off, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm at Black Horse Lane, we'll turn it round. It's a terrible mess, and until I get my oomph back, nothing's going to happen here. We'll go and take a look anyway. This used to be a guerrilla allotment basically, and from up to about 2014 it was actually looking pretty good, but it's all green alkanet now. You can see the green alkanet coming up, and you'd need weed killer to get rid of that shit. I could come down here with the secateurs and the loppers and the bow saw, cut stuff back. You can see where years ago I got some ivy pots at IKEA and I planted it, and literally this whole section of fence is now this particular kind of ivy. Like I said, this briar rose, to be honest, I could come here and cut this back. It's just oomph. I need to get down here, I want to come down here and do some work, but so much damage has been done here, it's almost disheartening. And here you can see Acer campestre field maple, and this is getting pretty big now. And then we've got a hawthorn here. One of these came, look at the size of this one, this is a hawthorn too, and that one I can only just about get my hand around that one. And one of these came from Wandle Park. It was planted at Wandle Park and was uprooted. So we got a field maple, hawthorn, and there's a lost in here somewhere is a mountain ash. And this mountain ash was literally a seedling that came up in the ground, and I moved it at least 2 times before I put it in this permanent position. And you can see it's all up here now. So we've got mountain ash, hawthorn, and a field maple. And there's a hazel here, of which I've been meaning to coppice for a number of years and never got round to it. So if I do have the health, next spring, well, late winter, early spring, January, February, I can try cut some of that down. But I think it is the type that it will produce cobs or hazelnuts on it. But you can see the size of it now. Look at it. And here you can see this is a privet. So what I can do, I can probably clip it and keep clipping it until it's of a shape. Here, look, we've got a fruit bush here. What is this? A rubbit. That's a blackcurrant. There's a blackcurrant here, and there's something here as well. We've got red currants and black currants here. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 of them. Possibly even 5. It's just, I think there's even more. It's amazing how you've not been somewhere for so long, you literally forget what you've planted. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 red currant and black currant bushes here that I've completely forgotten about. And as you can see, there were brick lined beds. I started with one small one, or was it a big one, and then I ended up with at least 3. So there's 1, 2 and a smaller one, and this has got some geraniums in it and a struggling cotoneaster because people keep cutting it back. And there's another smaller hazel here, and there's a gooseberry. I have no idea if this gooseberry is still alive. I would assume, I don't know, it doesn't look brilliant to be honest, but this is a hazel as well, and I tend to leave this one, but it's honestly, it's so overgrown in here now. It's like a mini woodland. I'm shocked. And this is a Cornus, and there's another one here. They've just been left too long. All I can do now is cut the dead bits off and leave what is up there, because I used to keep all this stuff clipped into shape, and it's just not possible now. It's literally like a mini woodland here now. And this, you may have seen me mention this before, this tree here, it's the Annerley Mirabelle plum. So basically this was one of the 2 little plum trees that I got from the ruined sports centre at Annerley. Of course I planted one of these on the allotment, and the other one I planted here on the railway park, but I don't think it's ever had a fruit on it. Again, another tree that needs bits cut out from it. Another field maple, Acer campestre, slowly getting bigger, but the others are massive now, literally massive. Look at the size of this. So you've got the smaller one here that I put in, and then the 3 big ones. And it used to be a Guerrilla Allotment, and a Bradyglottis Sunshine or Senecio Grey Eye. This had a couple of different names. It's still there. And there's a nice clump of oh fucking hell, cow parsley here. It's just the green alkanet and the ground elder. That's what ruins it, because you just can't get rid of it. And because of my health, it's been a bit pants. And all these nettles, I mean, I could wear gloves and I could easily cut all that down and compost it. There was a compost bin, 2 compost bins here at one point, and I literally made holes in them and wire locked them to the fence. But it all depends on health really, and oomph. But it doesn't look particularly happy, does it? But now it's taken on a completely different image altogether. It's now like a mini woodland. But you can see the remains of what used to be here. There's a border here, the back of a border. This was the path. You can see the path, woodchip path going all the way through here. And then the brick borders, 1, 2, 3 brick borders. I just need to come down here with the tools and do some cutting back and stuff like that. This is where I put a compost bin. There's stuff in it. I haven't put this in here. I built a compost bin. But as to whether this stuff will properly rot down, I don't know. And this used to be an elm tree. an English elm, and it was doing really well because you know about Dutch elm disease, but this elm tree was doing really well, and it was probably one of the only in the area that had been missed or hadn't suffered from Dutch elm disease. And then some idiot next door in one of these gardens decided that 2 or 3, 4 of the branches, little branches, were encroaching into the garden, so they cut them off badly, and of course the elm disease got in via the cuts that they made. They should have just left the tree alone, not touched it. So goodbye, one of the last elm trees. There you are, look. Wire locks, I don't even know if I've got the keys for them now. They might not even open, but there's no compost bins anyway. Load of rubble on the floor that I dug out over the years. But there used to be beds here as well, but it was just a constant battle against people doing damage and Scotscape, because the TFL labourers for Scotscape, their grounds maintenance, are complete idiots, and they do more damage than they actually do maintenance. But yeah, October, it's mid to late October now, and this used to be a nice little guerrilla allotment at one point, up until about here, all the way down to there. Used to be I used to look after it rent free. And Alison Plant from the council parks department, she said, why don't you make it bigger, why don't you extend it further down? And I couldn't, because I was the only one that was doing any work on it. I was the only one working on it, no one helped me. And eventually it all come to a screaming halt, because I got shut off for it for about 4 to 5 years because they were doing the bridges. And that was just the nail in the coffin, basically. But anyway, 3 lovely big Acer campestre field maple. There's one of them dirty sycamores there, got to keep an eye on them. There used to be big conifers here that the canary like birds and the goldcrests like to sit in, big conifers. And I remember them in the late 80s, but they eventually got cut down because they were too old and they were going rotten. But yeah, shame really. If I ever get the time and it stays dry, I might come down with secateurs, loppers and saw and just try and cut some stuff back. But if I had a proper compost bin, I mean even the gloves, I could cut all these nettles down and put them in that compost at the back. I'm not actually sure if I've come down here before, I probably have, and showed you the guerrilla allotment, but there's nothing really much to see now because it was just so badly abused by others, municipal neglect. The Friends group had to do all the work, literally all the work, because Croydon Council was just so completely hopeless. And Scotscape, it's just, and of course plants will grow, trees will grow, weeds will grow, grass will grow, and it's just been a complete nightmare basically. Anyway, all I can say is I'm impressed at the time that I've been away how big some of them trees have grown, and as you know I do a lot of tree planting. I'm quite a guerrilla tree planter. I've planted quite a lot of trees in the past, and yeah, that mountain ash, the plum, the Mirabelle plum, the field maple at the end, 2 hawthorns. I've planted all of them, so, and I'm not sure about the hazels. I kind of remember about the hazels, whether I put them in or not. I must have, but I just don't remember it. or stuff that was natural. Anyway, I'm going to knock it on the head. I've got a buggy full of bits again. I'm basically taking these to the New Age priestess, but I've got a few begonias in there, some orange dime bars and a heather and some more ivy and a Christmas tree. I'll let her have a Christmas tree. And there's another conifer here as well, just a little one, and that will go with the conifer and the conifer and the heather and the ivy, and that's a start for the next tub. Anyway, I think I'm going to end it there. I'm going to jump back on the tram. I think I'm talking alright. I seem to be thinking, I don't know, I suffered for about 3 days with what was supposed to be a cold, and it wasn't even really a cold because there was no snotting, there was no nose blowing, there was no sore nose. All it was just 3 days of feeling like I got pepper down the back of my nose, my throat and my mouth. That's what it was. It was horrible, just pepper down my nose and my mouth and my throat. It was horrible. It's a cold, just isn't a cold anymore. And because it's unknown, you end up going, oh, have I got, get a test. You either come back negative or it's a false positive. So that colds are no longer a sniffly cold. It's just an anonymous that makes you go, oh shit, have I got, and then this thing will last forever because a cold isn't a cold anymore. You see what they're doing. Anyway, we're going to go back to the ding-a-ling stop now. I just wish that they'd kept the original bridge, I really do, because the original bridge was 1863, at least 1862-63, and they only had to, you know, done work on it, and all the old graffiti on the bricks up the top, some of it dated to the 1860s, and they built this flipping behemoth. See, that tells you about everything, doesn't it? They are watching. When the original bridge was here, before phase 3 and 2 opened, I done graffiti under the bridge. I done my very first U-tail piece under here. About there, of course, it was a different bridge then, and a say no to drugs and a spork, and underneath that was a very old 2007 75C chrome black and yellow medallion that I'd done, and then the other side I'd done like a Woodside school thing, 1891 type thing. Don'twatch.org. But yeah, completely different bridge now. As to whether any bats could hide under here, I don't know. I have noticed bats in phase 2, but actually whether they'd hide underneath the bridge, I don't know. A cab. We're up to 18 minutes now. I think what we'll do, we'll go for the tram stop, but you can see how it's just been left to rot. And even here I planted a load of daffodils and crocuses and everything in there on that slope, but we were the only ones that looked after it. I was the only one that looked after it, and when my health went to pot, it just got left. And you can see that even the paths are overgrown, the edges are terrible. Nice sparrow colony there. Yeah, but it's the green alkanet that's spoilt it. It's a nice clump of Euphorbia schillingii over there. We're basically going from the tram stop now. Hopefully I'll get it. Whee!